wonder why you just seem to stay single and everybody else seems to be finding love? You're not alone. And sometimes there are behaviors, there's patterns that seem to like keep you from attracting the right person. Like you're getting counterfeits, you're getting the bottom of the barrel. If you are in these single streets and you are tired and you ready to find your kingdom spouse, listen up. This video is for you. My name is Lev.
And I'm Lex.
From LEX and LEV. And I'm a divorcee who found love again with this beautiful woman right here. And she's a widow. And she found love with me.
Yes.
Yeah, look at us. We found love again through really just putting kingdom principles into place. And we want to share those with you here on this channel. But in this video, we want to help you get out of the rat race of staying single. So let's jump into it, sweetie.
Yes. So before we dive into 5 behaviors that could possibly be keeping you single, we want to set the tone and let you know we're not here to blame you or to beat you down or to point the finger at you. Because again, these could possibly be things that you don't even know are happening or that you're doing. And that's okay because we've been there. Some of these things we've done or we've seen or we've experienced, and the beginning of healing, of finding true love is actually coming into the awareness of it.
Yeah.
So there's no shame here. This is a safe space, and we really hope that these are going to be helpful to you and maybe shedding some light on something you didn't know about. So make sure you stay tuned all the way to the end though, because while we have 5 things, we actually are adding a bonus after number 5. So make sure you stay to the end. You're not going to want to miss it.
So let's jump straight into it, sweetie.
Yes.
Number 1, the Over Idealizer.
Yikes.
The person who just fixates so much on the perfect spouse, the perfect situation. And what I'm seeing even in these single streets online is that people are saying like they want a fairy tale love story. So they're over idealizing like how to come together and who they come together with. And that could really be causing someone not to find their kingdom spouse. You know what I mean? Like just doing the most. Like they gotta be 6 foot, 6-pack, and 6 figures.
666, y'all.
That's a demon. That could be a demon. You know what I'm saying? But I think they just be doing the most. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I agree. You know, I think that a lot of times let me back up for a second. It's so easy to get into any relationship, especially a worldly relationship. But when we're talking about a kingdom relationship, there are some key principles that the world just doesn't teach. And so when we have this over idealization of like this person needs to have this laundry list of things, what we're doing is we're taking God out of it. We're not allowing God to really use that person to help grow and develop us. This principle of ironing, sharpening iron.
Come on.
And so I really feel like that over idealizer, not only is it counterproductive and counterintuitive to the person, but it can really like be something like an ick for someone if they pick up on it. Like, wow, this person is very demanding. This person has very high expectations and I don't know if I can meet them, so let me just back off.
I love how you broke that down. So let's jump into number 2.
Okay.
And let's look at the person. I've been this person, so we kind of move the order around. They move too fast. I mean, come on. Listen, I get scared when I hear people say, man, that's my spouse. And you just saw them from across the room. Like, you just went 0 to 100. You don't even know their name. What if their name is Gertrude?
What if their name is Gertrude?
Nothing wrong with that. Just call her Big G. You know what I'm saying? Big G. You give him a nickname, and I'm just like, you move too fast. You've already planned the wedding. You planned the proposal. You planned how many kids you're going to have, the name of the kids. You planned everything, and you don't even know if this person is saved or not. You just ready. The Lord told me you my wife. And that does happen. Let me pause. That happens far few and in between. That's the, what we call the exception, not the norm. But the person who moves too fast, they got life planned out before they even say hello. And again, I've experienced the person that moves too fast. And it's scary. It's scary because when I experienced it, it made me wonder,
what is this person not telling me?
Yeah.
What is this person like? Why is this person ready to move so fast? Like, you trying to lock me down? Like, for what? Like, I don't know. And so for me, it was an instant like, this is not gonna work. Like, before we really even had any kind of purposeful or meaningful conversation, it was an instant turn off because it was just scary. It was scary. I'm not gonna lie, it was scary.
And you want to date people in all seasons.
Yeah.
Slow down. You know what I'm saying? I moved too fast, but slow down.
Yeah.
But I moved fast with us because I knew.
Yeah.
It's another video that we've done before. So let's move on to number 3.
Yeah.
The non-communicator.
Yeah.
Like this one, I don't know. I get why I made the list, but I don't get why I made the list.
So I can shed some light on that.
Okay.
So I have been the non-communicator.
Okay.
And for me, it stems from another place, and maybe it's a video for another day.
Okay.
But I have an issue with confrontation.
Ah, that's what you mean. Okay.
And so if I meet someone, we're getting to know each other, and they would like do or say something I didn't like, I would just not say anything.
Okay.
And sometimes that would equate to the thing, I don't know if I'd call it a relationship, but I guess, the relationship just kind of fizzling out.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but sometimes it looked like ghosting because I was that upset.
Okay.
But what that did was it didn't teach me how to handle like disagreements in a healthy way, because I would just leave or pull away. But it also, like, I didn't realize that I was doing it to myself.
Yeah.
I always thought like, oh, well, it's them. Like, they did this, they did that. Never really fully understanding that if I just communicated what I was feeling or what I was thinking, that perhaps it could have been something that we worked through. Like, obviously, you're my husband now, but I could have learned something from that relationship. I could have experienced something new, and instead I shut the door on what could have been something. Yeah. Because I didn't communicate well or at all sometimes.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever experienced that or been that, but I get it. That's real. So let's move on to number 4.
Yes.
Hot and cold. Now, initially I felt like this wasn't me. This couldn't be me. But I've been hot and cold.
Have you?
I've been hot and cold.
Okay.
And it's really stemming from a place of like, the term that comes up is insecure, but it's not insecurity per se. It's more so like, I want this, but I don't want this. I want this, but I don't want this. You know what I mean? Like, I like you, but I don't know if I like you like that. So you go hot and cold with this person because it's more of, it is an insecure. You feel like, man, I'm with this person, I like it, but I don't like it long term like they like it.
Is it indecisiveness?
It's indecisive, but I think it's more rooted in insecurity, because if you don't like the person, leave them alone.
That part.
But you like their company. You like the thought of being with this person or being with somebody. Yeah. So it's not like indecisive on the person. It's more of an inner issue, I think. Yeah. From my experience, it's more inner. It's not like it's not even the person. You can swap the person out. Yeah. But is it like, man, I'm insecure. I feel like I don't want to be alone. So I'd rather be hot and cold with you, pick you up, put you down, pick you up, put you down, and just play this game. And it's so exhausting. So if this is you, just get some rest and stop. Yeah. Number 1, but yeah.
And deal with whatever it is. I love what you said, like, you could swap out the person and it could be something else. Excuse me. And I think insecurity is a big one. Yeah. I also think that there could be a plethora of reasons. Like, sometimes you're just not in a season to date. Yeah. You know, there's some instability in your life, or you're trying to figure something out, or you haven't ended the last relationship. Yes. That one I have seen too, where it's like, oh, we're cool, we're talking, and then the next thing you know, like, oh, I don't know, and then come to find out, like, they're talking back with their ex. And so there
or they're married.
Yikes. So there could be a plethora of reasons that cause a hot and cold, but I think, to your point, babe, it's about getting into a place where you're, as they say at our church, whole and holy. Like, you are complete and single and sufficient with yourself to be able to show up consistently for someone.
Yeah. So That's what it is. But before we get into number 5, remember, stick around because we got a bonus for you. You don't want to go to 5. So number 5 is you are just too rigid, or could be too rigid in your faith. I mean, you pray 7 times a day, and whoever you decide to be with gotta pray 10. Like, you just doing the most, and it's okay. Yeah. Like, it's okay, but sometimes it's being too rigid in your faith. You don't leave the door open enough for God to bring somebody into your life or present you to someone that could love you well, but they gotta go to 3 night services a week. Yeah. They gotta be almost like, bro, she doesn't have to be a nun. Yeah. She can love God and not be a nun.
Yeah. I think even when as I'm listening to this, our story. Yeah. When I met Lev, I didn't know anything about the prophetic. I had just left my childhood denomination, and I was really just coming into a restorative new relationship with God and just figuring things out. Meanwhile, Lev is an ordained minister. He's prophesying. He's, been very active in his church, and he was set in some ways. And I'm thinking, like, had you been like, nah, you don't prophesy, you don't know about prophecy, I'm good. Yeah. This would have never happened. This would have never worked. Yeah. There was a lot of things that I learned about faith from Lev and ways that I grew. And so I'm just really thankful that you weren't rigid in that way. But I could see how someone could feel that way. Sure. And we just want to encourage you, like, there isn't anything wrong with coming alongside someone that's learning and growing. It's, are they open? Do they want to grow? Do they want to learn? And do you share the same foundational convictions? Like, Jesus Christ is Lord. Jesus Christ lived, died, and resurrected, period. We believe in the Trinity. Like, there are certain things that are foundational that's like, we're not going back and forth about that. Right. So,
no, I think I was a little rigid though with you, and you've helped me not to be so rigid. Because there were things where I was like very hard on, and she was like, you might want to think about that. And it forced me to think about it, and it forced me to say, like, oh, okay, like, my faith is bigger than just my experience.
Can you give an example?
I don't want to say on camera.
Okay.
Because I don't want to open up some worms of thought that came to my mind, a conversation we had in the car one day. But I will say, I'll say this. I was rigid because I thought certain things had to be a certain way. But you showed me that people experience God differently than how I experience God. Yeah. Or I've seen God move. So to see people experience God differently doesn't mean that they're wrong. Yeah. It's just they had a different experience with God. And who am I to put God in the box? Yeah. And I had to learn that from you. So there was a little bit of rigid in my faith with you, but I was open. So if that's you, if you find yourself like, man, you're strong in your faith, strong in your convictions, just be open. Yeah. Just be open. Again, there's hard lines that we don't compromise on, obviously. Right. But be open. Just be open if you find yourself rigid in your faith. Yeah.
How could someone identify if they're rigid in their faith?
I think, again, outside of the foundational aspects of being a kingdom citizen, if you feel like it can only be one way, then you may be missing it. The only thing that's one way is one way to God, and that's through Jesus. Mm-hmm. Outside of that, man, Jesus used multiple things. I mean, he spit in the ground to heal somebody. So who are we to say how to heal? You know what I mean? Yeah. Who are we to say, God used a donkey to talk to a man, to stop him from doing something that ended his demise. If he can talk through a donkey, we have to be open for God to move and be God all by himself, and we just receive. That's good. All right, here's our bonus. The scary Christian. Like, you scary spice. You know what I'm saying? You the scary Smurf of the group. You're terrified of getting out of your comfort zone. Yes. And whatever your comfort zone may be, but we find it a lot when they don't want to get out, as for the ladies, to be presented.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, I don't get out like that. I'll just be at home. Well, the brother not going to break into your house and be like, hey, God sent me.
Yeah.
No, God sent him to jail. You know what I'm saying? You going to jail. Or the fellas who just play video games, they hang around they single fellas all day, every day. How are you going to be able to be distracted enough for God to be like, hey, there she is, and you see her?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're just scared.
Yeah, I mean, we know that there's also that fear of rejection. Like, some guys just don't want to get out and don't want, because they don't want to be put in a position where they can experience rejection. And so that fear goes on both ends.
Yeah.
You know, ladies don't want to be approached by the wrong guy or just go through the hassle for it to go nowhere and feel that disappointment and that letdown. And then you've got the guys that are distracted by what's going on or just don't want to deal with rejection or anything like that. But the fact of the matter is that in the kingdom, there's no place for fear.
God has not given us the spirit of fear, but power, love,
and a sound mind.
Come on, somebody. So if you find yourself possibly being scared, just know what's driving it and that you can overcome it, because you don't know what's on the other side of that fear. Could be that kingdom love and that kingdom spouse that you're looking for.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And sweetheart, here's my question to you. If any of this resonates with them, what should they do?
So if any of these things resonated with you, the Over Idealizer, the non-communicator,
hot and cold, move too fast, rigid in your face, and scared,
or scared, we have the replay of our Kingdom Love Unlocked workshop. Listen, this workshop, if any of those things just they're nudging you a little bit, you want to check out the replay, because in it we really break down the fundamentals that we use to find love and find each other. And what it's going to do is it's going to give you a framework, a place to start to understand, like, how do I let go of these behaviors and how do I position myself to receive the love that I know that God has for me. So we'll leave the link in the description box. Check it out. It was a really great time. And we know you're going to enjoy it.
We had a slice on that workshop. So pull up, make sure you check it out. But then also, before you leave this video, there's a video on the screen that YouTube is recommending for you to watch. So you get an opportunity to like, comment, and subscribe. But click the video and let us know that YouTube get the recommendation right. And we'll see you on the other side of the video. Bye.
Bye.